Alan Shearer names team that will stop Arsenal from winning Champions League. Alan Shearer says Arsenal have a really good chance in this year's Champions League, but the ex-England striker is backing Paris Saint-Germain to successfully defend their crown. Arsenal extended their perfect start in Europe with victory over Inter Milan this evening, beating last year's runners-up 3-1 to move 6 points clear at the top of the league phase table. Gabriel Jesus struck either side of a thunderous 18th-minute effort from Peter Susic, and Victor Gyökeres added a third to secure the visitors a place in the knockout phase of the competition. Domestically, it's been a similar story for the Gunners, with Arteta's men sitting pretty atop the Premier League table and boasting a 7-point advantage over their nearest rivals. But the North Londoners have been burnt time and time again in recent years under Arteta, and no silverware is far from guaranteed, after 3 successive runners-up finishes in the English top flight. It's been 22 years since Arsenal last tasted success in the Premier League, when Arsene Wenger's fabled Invincibles side went the entire campaign unbeaten. And in the Champions League, a painful defeat in the 2006 final at the hands of Barcelona remains the club's best-ever finish, an unwanted record Arteta's squad are looking to put right this season. However, a season on from their thumping 5-0 victory over Inter Milan in Munich, Shearer envisages PSG going all the way again. There is no doubt that this mob tonight, Arsenal, have got a really good chance of being there, Shearer said on Amazon Prime's Champions League coverage before the Gunners' win in Italy. But I just think because of what PSG did last year, the players that they have, I'm just going to edge it with PSG. But Arsenal won't be far away. Asked who he sees PSG beating in the final, the former Newcastle center forward replied, "Probably Arsenal. I don't think so, that it would be a 5-0 scoreline again if PSG did face Arsenal in the final. I think with the confidence and the belief that Arsenal have, and you've seen with the turnover of players in terms of the squad that he can leave on the squad, and they still look a very, very strong team, and a team capable of coming and winning here tonight at Inter. That will certainly help them in the moments ahead. So yeah, PSG and Arsenal as favorites." Turning his attentions to domestic matters, Shearer confidently predicted Arsenal would end their long wait for the Premier League trophy after their fine start. The Premier League's all-time top scorer believes the return to fitness of both Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz could be key over the coming weeks and months. "I think they'll win the Premier League with the 7-point advantage they've got. It was a really good weekend for them, with Manchester City and Aston Villa dropping points again. Again, I go back to the squad and how many changes they can make. It doesn't affect them. They're getting injuries back with Gabriel Jesus and with Kai Havertz as well. And I think defensively, that's the key for me, that they just don't give many goals away and they're so strong at the back. So I think they'll go ahead and they'll do it." Despite a shock Derby Day defeat to Manchester United at the weekend, Shearer still sees Manchester City as a slight threat to Arsenal's title hopes. "I think Manchester City will push Arsenal all the way," he explained. "Antoine Semenyo and Marc Guehi are very good signings. We've already seen Semenyo have an impact, albeit not so much at the weekend. Their problems are certainly defensively. They definitely needed somebody to help them out in the center-back position, and Guehi is a very good addition. They will push them because of their experience, but I'm not sure they'll have enough, and Arsenal will take it." Inter Milan v Arsenal player ratings: Sommer 4, Akanji 5, Jesus 9, Zubimendi 8. Arsenal guaranteed a top 2 finish in UEFA Champions League group phase after comfortable 3-1 win at San Siro. Arsenal made it 7 consecutive wins in the UEFA Champions League, a new club record, following an entertaining 3-1 win at the San Siro against last season's finalists Inter Milan. Now the Gunners sit top of the standings with 21 points and are guaranteed a top 2 spot, while Inter is in 8th place after their 3rd defeat in a row in European action. Mikel Arteta made 7 changes to his side as he kept one eye on the Gunners' clash with Manchester United at the weekend. And it was Gabriel Jesus who made the biggest impact, netting 2 first-half goals, one either side of a thunderous 18th-minute effort from Petar Susic, and Victor Gyökeres added a third to secure the visitors a place in the knockout phase of the competition.
First, the Brazilian found himself in the right place at the right time to cleverly convert Jurrien Timber's miscued effort to open the scoring. Susic then pulled Inter level with a well-taken effort, but Jesus was again first to react when Leandro Trossard headed a Bukayo Saka corner across goal, Jesus heading home from close range after the ball rebounded off the crossbar. Inter threatened on the break while Arsenal had further chances to extend their lead, but it was Victor Gyökeres, Jesus' second-half replacement, who made the game safe. He converted with aplomb following Gabriel Martinelli's sumptuous pass. What they said. Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta: "I'm very proud of the team. We needed a special and complete performance against a top side, and we got it. The courage to play and the willingness to take the game to the best team in Italy at the San Siro was special. We knew there would be difficult phases of the game, and we managed that well, including the substitutes. I'm so happy for Gabriel, who deserves the Man of the Match award, not just for his goals, but for his hard work." Inter Milan coach Christian Chivu: "It was a tough night. We tried to stay in the game and we couldn't take our chances when the game was 1-1. Arsenal made some changes in the second half and they're one of the best teams in Europe. They have good quality and depth, and though we tried to play our game, it didn't happen. We still have some games tomorrow to see where we'll be in the table, but we'll still be here and try to do what we need to do." Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus: "It was a dream night. I watched a lot of Italian football when I was a kid, so to be in this stadium and to score here brings tears to my eyes. It's always difficult to play against Inter Milan. We've lost here before, and tonight was difficult, but we controlled them better tonight. They have some top players, but we now have to keep going. I'm pleased I scored and that Victor scored too." Arsenal player ratings. David Raya, 6 out of 10. The Spaniard could do little to stop Susic's effort, but he was equal to everything else Inter threw at him, was guilty of some wayward passing at times, which invited unnecessary pressure. Jurrien Timber, 6 out of 10. Solid once again, but unspectacular. It was from his scuffed effort on goal that Gabriel Jesus was able to volley home to open the scoring. William Saliba, 8 out of 10. Another class performance from the center back, looked effortless bringing the ball forward from the back and was rarely beaten in a duel. Christian Mosquera, 6 out of 10. Had a tough half up against Thuram, but eased into it and slotted in well alongside Saliba. He did well to block the Frenchman with a sliding tackle, but the ball dropped to Barella, whose effort fell to Susic for the equalizer. Milo Lewis Skelly, 6 out of 10. Another quiet game from the fullback, who is struggling to find his best form. There were glimpses throughout the game that he was turning the corner though, and another 90 minutes will only benefit him. Martin Zubimendi, 8 out of 10, has been the key man for Arsenal in the Champions League so far in terms of line-breaking passes and possession, and tonight was no different. Goes about his business quietly and efficiently. Mikel Merino, 6 out of 10. Slotted in well alongside Zubimendi and added physicality to the Gunners' midfield, even if he wasn't as consistent in possession. Eberechi Eze, 6 out of 10, was involved in the build-up of Arsenal's first goal when his incisive forward pass was directed into the area. However, he was often guilty of losing possession, which Inter would use to counterattack. Bukayo Saka, 7 out of 10. A constant menace cutting in from the right-hand side. He was the first to test Sommer when he cut inside, but could only fire into the Swiss keeper's hands. However, it was from the England international's deep cross that Trossard headed back across the face of goal for Jesus to net Arsenal's second goal. Gabriel Jesus, 9 out of 10. It's now 3 goals in 2 matches for Jesus. First, the Brazilian acted quickly and cleverly to direct Jurrien Timber's miscued effort past Sommer to break the deadlock. Then he headed home unchallenged after Leandro Trossard headed back across the face of goal from Saka's corner. Looked lively throughout, and his link-up play was also good. Leandro Trossard, 7 out of 10. Like Saka, Trossard was a threat from the wing. It was the Belgian who recycled the ball back into the area following Saka's deep corner for Jesus to net Arsenal's second goal. Had a couple of half chances himself, but couldn't find the net. Substitutes: Declan Rice, Eze, 64, 6 out of 10. Came on to shore up the Arsenal midfield and was solid as you'd expect. Ben White, Timber, 64, 6 out of 10. A tactical switch saw White come on to help see out the game, and he did what he had to do. Gabriel Magalhaes, Mosquera, 74, 6 out of 10. Looked assured at the back after he came on. Victor Gyökeres, Jesus, 75, 8 out of 10. Had an immediate impact after coming on. First, he used his strength to draw a yellow card before adding Arsenal's third goal, a sensational finish into the top corner following Gabriel Martinelli's sumptuous pass. Gabriel Martinelli, Trossard, 79, 7 out of 10. Delivered a beautiful pass with the outside of his boot for Gyökeres to score Arsenal's third goal.